Hello, everybody. Have you ever thought about how cannabis could help connect you with your partner to enhance pleasure and deepen the spiritual connection that the two of you share? With me today is Astraeus Amori, an author of the book Psychedelic Sacred Sexuality, which is coming out for Valentine's Day 2024. This book is amazing. It's all about how psychedelics can help you enhance your emotional, physical, and spiritual connection with your lover. So, if this topic interests you and you're especially interested in cannabis, please stay tuned and welcome Astraeus Amori.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's great to be here.
Thank you. I love your book so much because you, as an actual physician and person who has experienced the sacred sexuality with psychedelics, you share the hardcore science behind each psychedelic, but you also share wonderful stories about your own experiences that are just beautiful. So let's just do a brief overview of why you wrote this book.
Yeah, so really the goal of the book is just to help people flow into deeper levels of love with their partners, to find their inner self through going into these psychedelic realms, which help take our monkey mind offline, allow us to go inward. And by doing that, we can understand our deeper selves more intimately, which then allows us to more intimately understand our lovers. So a lot of it is just connecting to ourselves, connecting to our partner, and then connecting to the deeper realms of love in the universe as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. So then let's dive into cannabis because in each chapter you have a different psychedelic or molecule, as you call it. And one chapter is devoted to cannabis, which is legal in many places and very accessible. And so let's talk about how cannabis can enhance that emotional, physical, and spiritual connection between lovers.
Absolutely. And I wanted to start off with a little history behind cannabis, and then I'll dive into how it affects us in terms of libido and sexual sensitivity, all that juicy stuff. And then I've got a short little erotic story that I'm going to share right at the end. So hope you
Oh,
guys enjoy
beautiful.
this.
Awesome.
Um,
I'm ready.
my slides are not going forward. Do you need to click it on your end, maybe?
No, everything's good on my end. Uh,
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
oh, good. Perfect.
Technical difficulties, my apology.
It's all
So,
good.
so cannabis was originally believed to be found in Central Asia, specifically in a region that is now known as modern Mongolia and also southern Siberia. So many people think it may have, originated in South America, but it was actually Central Asia. It was thought to have been used for medicinal and psychoactive properties by ancient cultures in this area as early as 500 BC. From there, the use of cannabis spread to other parts of Asia, to the Middle East, and eventually to Europe and the Americas. It became mainstream in our country, the United States, during the counterculture movement of the 1960s and 70s. It was embraced by the hippie movement and became associated with rebellion, creativity, and alternative lifestyles. Fast forward into 2024, marijuana is now legal for recreational use in 18 states and Washington, D.C., and is legal for medicinal use in 37 states.
Oh, wow. 18
Yeah, so
states.
it's
Okay.
pretty broad spread. And yeah, so many of the states are just medical only, but rec plus medical is just in 18 states. Now, many of you know the popular strains of cannabis, and it's important to know the basic strains, particularly in the application of sacred sexuality, because there's an alchemy blend that we can create with these, which will really rev you up and help you have the ultimate orgasm. So I'm going to give you that cocktail here in just a minute.
Okay.
Uh, so indica is the one that we often hear about as being associated with relaxation, mellowing you out, and but giving you this bodily high. Um, it has a more meditative and introspective experience, and is actually my favorite for psychedelic sacred flow. Um, if you were smelling it, it has that more of a skunk smell, as many people call it, skunk weed. And much of this is due to the rich terpenes that are found within the
Hmm.
particular strain. Sativa is a little more activating, gives you more energy and creativity, gives you more of a head high. The elevation of the mood is more common with this particular strain, and it has more of a pine like smell to it. CBD, which you can even buy over the counter in a grocery store, at least in Colorado. We can use it for inflammation. We can use it for um, helping with sleep, etc. It's a non-psychedelic component that doesn't produce any noticeable high when consumed, although it is psychoactive and some forms, particularly in terms of being an anti-epileptic. It's been used for seizure disorders. Um, CBN is a cannabinoid which is unique because it's not produced directly by the cannabis plant. Instead, it is produced by the degradation of THC. CBN forms when THC is exposed to heat and light over time. And as marijuana ages, some of the THC breaks down into CBN.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. I never knew any of this.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. And there's other strains, but these are, the main ones to be familiar with. So, typical effects of cannabis can be that euphoria, the feeling happy and relaxed. Sometimes we have an altered perception of time. So, time may accelerate or slow down, similar to other psychedelics. Enhanced sensations. I think this is the most profound thing that I've really noticed is that you definitely have more sexual sensitivity, you have more sensitivity to touch and kissing, libidos enhanced from tasting different foods like mango is much enhanced when you've got the cannabis on board. Um, and again, you may feel with cannabis that you're more introspective and meditative, while others may feel more social and extroverted. And we've seen that at parties where somebody's off in a corner after they smoked weed, and the other gal is just chatty patty, right? uh,
Right.
I was surprised, when I was in high school and college, I smoked a little bit of weed, but not much, and I never experienced any of the visual hallucinations or visual effects. And what I've noted is that with the higher doses, you can absolutely get these psychedelic visuals that you might see with magic mushrooms and whatnot. They're not going to be as intense. They're going to be oftentimes more organic. So you might see more green colors and leaves and patterns of nature more so than patterns of like sacred geometry, which could be a hexagon or a dodecahedron, which is more common with things like LSD. Mushrooms are kind of in between LSD and cannabis, in my opinion. Now, some people, if they take too much, they can get anxiety and paranoia. Um, and that's why it's important for them to, if they're doing a big drop in, to have somebody that can hold space for them if they're having a rough time with it. But the important thing is just starting at a low dose and not going too high so that you don't throw yourself into a state of anxiety with it. But it's pretty rare, and you have to really overdo it with a high dose of it. And typically, where we see people go into the emergency room with hallucinations and severe anxiety, they've been stupid and they've consumed 30 or 40 milligrams of THC in an edible, and we're being foolish in terms of their application of this particular molecule. So, what's the best cocktail for optimal sexual flow? I talked to a cannabis expert up in Boulder. His name is Daniel McQueen, and he runs a group called the Medicinal Mindfulness Group, where he teaches people how to hold space with cannabis, facilitating type training. And his experimentation with the different strains showed that a combination of indica, the mellow one, with sativa, more stimulating, combined with CBN, which kind of has uh, an intermediate effect similar to indica and sativa, creates this alchemy blend, as he calls it. And it creates this trifecta of moderate psychedelic effects, huge libido boost, and big increase in sexual sensitivity. Um, I've been trying this brand called Wana, which is an edible form to create that blend. And typically, I just do a half gummy of each of those particular indica sativa CBN to drop in. Some people may need to do a full one if they're more regular users, and I can go into that a little bit more later. I've also found that their rapid release ones, which have an onset of 30 minutes instead of an hour later, are definitely the way to go compared to the regular release.
Hmm.
Um, and disclaimer, I don't own any stock in this company or anything. So I just found that it's a good Colorado brand. Um, in terms of when will you feel the peak in sexual sensitivity, my field research has shown that it's been about an hour, but sometimes a little bit longer. Um, and then the duration of it is long enough, 2 to 3 hours, that you don't have to stop and take a hit off of a vape or a flower joint, which you would have to do much more frequently and interrupt your flow. So that's why I really prefer the edible over the inhaled forms of cannabis. And um, yeah, I think a total dose of 15 to 20 milligrams is great. But again, play it safe and start on a little lower dose range to be safe for yourself.
Hmm.
So I wanted to share just an example of what I felt with my partner with this amazing plant. And I've had many experiences with it, but this is kind of a culmination of some of the experiences, fairly limited, but it gives you kind of an idea of what you may expect from an amazing time with edible cannabis. So there we
Wonderful.
go. There we go. So, and this is from the book for everybody. And if you want to read a lot more about cannabis, definitely just buy the book on Valentine's Day and you can get a lot more detail from there. So here we go. Bella, my partner, has become a huge fan of our cannabis journeys lately, especially since she loves the enhanced sexual sensitivity. One Friday Eve, we decided to do a combination of 5 milligrams of indica, 10 milligrams of sativa, and 5 milligrams of CBN by edible rapid release. We dialed in a tantric playlist on Spotify, lit a few candles, dimmed the lights, brought the hot stone massage warmer to the bedside, and quickly got naked. Within 20 minutes, we both began to feel our heart rates increase, along with a desire to ravage each other. Bella was especially frisky, and I could feel her wanting to be somewhat of a dominatrix this eve. She positioned herself on top of me and began to passionately kiss me, then dangled her breasts above my lips, teasing me more. Placing my lips around them, I gave her nipples some gentle love bites, then circled my tongue around them broadly. Watching her nipples firm up and seeing them glisten in the flickering candlelight was super arousing. Soon she hopped off me, and I heard her rustling around the bed. What are you up to, Bella? "Ah, I'm digging around for the restraints tied to the corners of your bed. Found them. Oh, this is going to be a wild ride, I thought. Within a few minutes, she had me tied up in a 4-point restraint with me looking up at the ceiling. She then placed an eye mask over me. She then plotted a strategy to drive me and her off the edge. Bella said, I want you to receive a tantric massage while I've restrained you, and I'll take my creativity from there, baby. I'm loving this already, baby. Um, I said. She started by pouring some warm massage oil on my navel, then flowed her hands gently up to my chest and neck, massaging me in her intuitive way. Her hand began to amplify and connect my chakras more deeply. Periodically, she surprised me with the tip of her tongue touching my lips as she continued to flow her love and energy into me with her hands. This is so amazing, Bella. Sometimes I feel guilty about receiving so much from you, but when you had me all tied up, I really don't have a choice. She said, "Don't worry, Astraeus. This is your turn to receive. And if you don't like, and if you like, you can return the love to me later, with or without the restraints." Completely letting go and trusting her flow gave me a more profoundly heart-based connection to her. The element of trusted vulnerability combined with an excitement of not knowing what was coming next created a nice dopamine rush. On top of all this, the cannabis was kicking in more, and I was beginning to appreciate the greater skin sensitivity, my heightened libido, and the subtle geometry emerging visually as she continued to torture me with her love. Soon I heard her hands reaching into the water to retrieve the polished labradorite hot stones. She pulled them from a hot stone warmer on the bedside table. She then placed them along my chakras, including one under the base of my spine, right at my root chakra. Labradorite is known for its energetic properties that enhance all chakras. According to Robert Simmons, labradorite is an interdimensional stone emanating an energy which helps one to consciously pierce the veil between our waking world and the many domains and planes of inner awareness. Embracing the luminous energies emanating from these gemstones, I surrendered to their healing flow. Bella's hands, aglow with radiant light, danced gracefully over me, channeling an ethereal warmth. The plant medicine infused with the essence of Gaia coursed through me, opening my chakras even further. As these elements converged, I found myself transcending the physical realm, entering otherworldly dimensions where time and space blurred and my consciousness expanded into new realms of perception and understanding. In this interdimensional space, a profound sense of peace and enlightenment enveloped me, revealing the interconnected tapestry of life and energy. Floating in this space, I began to feel Bella flow her hands with more massage oil between my legs and around my root chakra. My Kundalini energy began to amplify this, making me squirm and pull on the restraints around my ankles and wrists. Working her hands gracefully and slowly around my perineum and my genitals, she sent me into an ecstatic state of pleasure. Soon she was teasing the tip of my penis with her tongue, then took all of me in her mouth as she tortured me to the edge of orgasm, then backing off. Seeking some pleasure for herself, she positioned me, she surprised me as she positioned her yoni over my face. I could feel her wet yoni and clitoris on my lips, dying for attention. Running my tongue wildly over her clitoris, she lightly pushed towards me harder. Unable to use my restrained hands, she strategically moved her perineum to flow with my dancing tongue. I could feel and taste her yummy juiciness as she was climbing closer to climax. Within minutes, she released with a screaming orgasm as I felt her squirting on my face. Feeling her legs tremor next to my shoulders, she held her yoni within tongue's length. Wow. Bella, place your clit on my third eye, I said. Here you go, baby. Whoa, so much energy flowing into me from your third eye, babe. OMFG. I am feeling pulses of energy flowing from your root chakra into me as well. It's wild to feel a link from your fiery root chakra into my upper chakras. Hold this for a while, baby. Astraeus, I want to let you know that that was one of the most astral off-planet orgasms I've ever had. Bella, I so felt that when you released on my face. Oh my God. After a few minutes, she changed positions, and I felt her directing my throbbing cock into her yoni. Riding me slowly, then a little faster, she brought me to the verge of releasing again. How does this feel, babe? Bella asked. As much as I want an orgasm, being on the verge like this is pure ecstasy. Don't worry, she said. Just another 5 to 10 minutes and I'll make you explode. I could feel her turn around to face towards my feet, followed by placing me inside her again. Starting slowly again, she quickly accelerated as I felt her ass bouncing down on me. Soon we were both moaning in ecstasy and orgasm wildly together. Sitting with me inside her, I could feel her still coming as she contracted around me. Wow, wow, wow. Can we make this happen every night? I asked. Sure, but next time I want to roll you over and spank you good with a whip, said Bella. She removed the Velcro restraints from my extremities, the mask off my face, and looked in my eyes passionately while wildly saying, that was beyond fun. All right, that's it. And maybe soon I'll create another real story for you guys to enjoy. What did you think of that?
That was hot. That was beautiful. I so some of them, I don't really want to repeat the words, but some of them like it's like just blows your mind. First of all, a lot of people don't know what chakras are. So
Mhm.
if but when you do and you understand these invisible energy centers in the body and how they connect with your lover, and then you have this psychedelic enhancing the sensory extravaganza of the experience, it's like, whoa, this is whole next level that most people aren't even aware is possible. So that's what I love about your book, that you are just taking people into a whole new dimension. It's so cool.
Thanks. And I think so much of it is just being a bold explorer, being creative and willing to try radically different things than the traditional boring stuff, right? And so having a gal put their clitoris on your third eye, which is located between your brow, uh,
Mm-hmm.
was a fascinating thing because I could truly feel her root chakra, which is down in that area, flowing right into my third eye area, which was an amazing connection from root to third eye. I mean, most people don't think of doing something crazy like that. Of course, they may have oral sex and just have their tongue on the clitoris or vice versa. But I think appreciating the beauty of energy flow from these chakras um, by, applying the clitoris to the third eye, and sometimes I will um, sit with my perineum almost in kind of a meditative state on
Mm-hmm.
hers and just feeling my root chakra connect to her root chakra. So you can
Mm-hmm.
play with these elements of connecting heart chakra, both root chakras together, root to third eye, which is sixth chakra, and then see what feels good and just be in flow
Mm-hmm.
with it. And super fun.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, what's the response from people that you've gotten so far who've read the book and they're like, oh, this really opened my mind and heart to a whole new way of living and loving?
Oh, it's been amazing from both men and women. And, I've only shared it out to probably 20 people so far because it's not officially published. So they've just been given an early release of it. But yeah, they love the erotica. They love that I've blended in some scientific detail in terms of how different plant medicines interact with different neurotransmitters, the legality information, the sensations that are created, and then a lot of information on how to optimize your nutrition, how to optimize hormone balance, peptide
Mm,
therapies. So it's really blending together a lot of great detail on from functional medicine in terms of how you can improve your sexual health, combined with psychedelic medicine, combined with spirituality, combined with pharmacology. So you've got this amazing blend that you're not going to find in someone who doesn't have a medical background writing a book on um, you know, tantra slash sacred sexuality um, of this nature. So I think you're going to find it to be a very unique book that has a lot of depth and breadth to it compared to many other books that are out there, like the Psychedelic Explorer Guide and et cetera, which I think are kind of a very basic, shallow
mm-hmm,
read for
mm-hmm.
for most people.
Wow, that's great. Um, so what's your hope with this book? I mean, I'm not a user of any of the psychedelics, but I found it absolutely fascinating to have a better understanding. So, what's your hope with this book?
My hope is that it really gets out there to thousands and thousands of people
Uh-huh.
so that we can shift consciousness on this planet to be more loving, more um, have more empathy, more compassion towards one another, because we've
Hmm.
become a world of hatred in many ways, and trying to be overly competitive uh, competitive instead of being in the nature of working together and being collaborative and trying to find some middle point of healthy relationships. And I hope that it will, yeah, make people happier and encourage more healthier relationships, and maybe even help save relationships that are on the verge of collapse by them getting to know each other on a deeper, more intimate level.
Wow,
And
because I would think it requires a great deal of trust to engage in this experience with your lover because you're kind of in an altered state. Am I right?
yeah, you are. And so you definitely need to be in that state of trusting each other, consenting to do this together, and being willing to, like in the story where I was being tied up, being able to say, "Hey, I don't like being tied up, untie me." Um, so having those hard stops with your lover if you're getting too wild, or things are going in a direction that you don't like. I think that's pretty unusual that people have a uncomfortable situation, but just having that game plan laid out, I think provides a greater level of security as you're dropping in with it. And I think cannabis is such a great entry point because you can do it legally in most states, as we
Hmm.
described, and it's cheap, and it provides a really nice, gentle entry point for experiencing the psychedelic sacred sexual flow. My next recommendation would be for people to work with psilocybin, which is decriminalized in many states, and hopefully will be decriminalized in all states because it's got such medicinal benefits in terms of treating depression, anxiety, and many other issues. So um, start with cannabis if you're new to this, then go to um, mushrooms, and then yeah, you can explore the other molecules that are a little more wild in the book, but just do so, in a legal, safe manner, and under the guidance of a facilitator that may have to, you know, hold space for you to work with these molecules on an individual basis so that you're comfortable with it before you do it together. So things like LSD and San Pedro and, um, even ketamine can be molecules that you definitely want to be holding space with. Ketamine can be prescribed legally by therapists under a physician's supervision. And I think that can be another great one for couples to kind of go into this deep astral space and to help um, heal over any issues they may have, and then to connect on a more intimate level as well. But you have to be careful with things like ketamine because of the overdoses that we hear about and the misuse and people buying it on the streets, et cetera. So I guide people on all those safety precautions and dosing, et cetera, in the book as well.
Okay. Yeah, I really love the way you provide all the information about legalities, dosing, potential risks, who should not use certain psychedelics, if you have a certain health history or a certain mental health condition that could put someone at risk for detrimental side effects. So I really think you've done an amazing job in providing such a comprehensive understanding that is scientific, and yet you have the titillating storytelling in there too to balance it off. So it's really amazing. It was a great, great read. And again, I came away with it with such a good understanding of all the different things that I've never tried and don't really have an interest in, but like magic mushrooms. I know people who do it, they say it's amazing. And now I understand from your stories and scientific explanations what's magical about it. So I hope you have
Right.
the
And many
impact.
people can read, Michael Pollan's book, How to Change Your Mind, to learn more about magic mushrooms and his experience from a layperson's standpoint. And then there's so much information now on magic mushrooms because it's, pretty much ubiquitous everywhere. I'd say every state has a huge presence of mushrooms, whether it's legal or not. And I honestly don't think even in the more conservative states that um, people are going to get punished for having it because it's just a very, very low level um, type of molecule that really shouldn't be pursued compared to people using horrible things like heroin and fentanyl, which are killing people left and right every year.
Oh,
So
right.
um, I think there's been one or two documented deaths related to mushrooms, for example, in the entire history. um, and they were more related to people being so high on mushrooms they would like run out in front of a car and stupidly got hit by a car instead of staying indoors. Whereas we think about alcohol, we lose close to 100,000 people a year from alcohol. It's legal, right? And 100,000 people, and here we are trying to make a big deal about mushrooms. Two people in the recorded history have died. We think about opioid overdoses. That's close to 70,000 a year. We think about tobacco-related deaths. That's over 100,000 a year. So when we look at the potential for harm, the ones that are killing people are prescribed, the narcotics, or legally obtain the fentanyl, um, or you can buy them in a store if they're of legal age, the alcohol and tobacco. So it's pretty obvious that our government is being paid off to allow these harmful substances to exist while not allowing the non-harmful ones that actually expand your mind, make you smarter, make you more creative, improve your relationship, are not yet fully legalized. So kind of
Mm, mhm.
hypocritical when you look at the uh, potential of harm of substances on a chart, um, which the CDC can show you if you Google that. But yeah, interesting world we live in. But I think we're trending in the right direction, and I do feel that there is a psychedelic renaissance that will continue unless people are stupid in terms of their use of it, and that they use it in a mindful, conscious way, and they're not being reckless like they were back in the 60s with LSD, then I think we've got a bright future.
Psychedelic Renaissance. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
awesome.
I think we're entering the early stages of it, but like everything, people can screw it up if you have a lot of, people that are being irresponsible. So hopefully,
Hmm.
this
Wow.
book will
Fascinating.
allow
Yes.
people to see how you can responsibly use it for creating, greater happiness and love and higher consciousness rather than just going out and partying with things, right? So I'm really talking about, the individual enhancing their spirituality and becoming a better individual through this rather than, say going to a rave and getting crazy on MDMA and driving home altered and having an accident, right? So,
Hmm. Right. So, Astraeus, great job. Can you tell people where they can find the book?
yeah. So, right now, you can pre order the ebook on Amazon. And Elizabeth, if you can post that on your website or with
Sure.
us, that would be great.
Hmm.
And then it will deliver to your inbox on Valentine's Day. If you do want the paperback, you can order it on Valentine's Day, and I think it's going to be visible to order even the day before Valentine's, and it should deliver pretty quickly too. So you can just go to Amazon, put in the name of the book, and it should pop up. For whatever reason, it's not popping up when you search right now with the ebook, but it will definitely all pop up on Valentine's. And then I'm also going to have it on Barnes and Noble's site fairly soon too. Just working on some technical glitches there.
Hmm. Beautiful, beautiful, excellent. Well, are there any other ways that people can get in touch with you if they have any questions or comments?
Yeah, so they can go to the Psychedelic Sacred Sexuality.com website, and I've got
Hmm.
my email there, and I'll be posting other good stuff there as well. I also have a newsletter where you can click on a button, just say sign me up for the newsletter. I'm not going to spam people with newsletters like most people do. It's probably going to be something a few times a year, but I'll include some useful tips and information on that. So definitely go to psychedelic sacred sexuality.com to sign up for the newsletter. And yeah, shoot me any questions or comments you have. I'd love to hear from you.
I love it. I love it. This is so fascinating. So everybody out there, psychedelicsacredsexuality.com, and then also information about how to order the book and get it delivered just in time for Valentine's Day, which is such a cool release time because that's the day when lovers are celebrating, and this could take things to a whole new level.
Yeah,
So
you could put the book in a little gift bag with some cannabis gummies, and you're ready to go. Oh,
I
maybe
love it,
some
Astraeus.
massage oil and other fun things. There's a lot of goodies we
Yes,
throw in there.
yes. So, do you have any final words?
Um, oh, the only other final thing that just came to mind was I do have a whole chapter on how to enhance erotic flow, from working with touch to sound to smell, all the sensations. So there's lots of good things about setting up your bedroom in a way that is really conducive to an optimal sexual experience. So I think you'll dig that
Mm.
as well.
And you call in the book, you call that setting, am I right?
Right, right. So setting is like your bedroom or your love room, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then set, as we often refer to, is what is your emotional state as you're going into, a sacred sexual journey, and what intentions are you setting? So we
Mm-hmm.
call it set and setting.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
it. Such a great educational experience with this book and entertaining at the same time. I call it edutainment.
There you go.
Yeah. Excellent, Astraeus Amori. I wish you the best success with this book. Everybody, check out the description box here with all the links that we just discussed so you can get your book and learn more and contact Astraeus if you have any questions. He's very, very, very knowledgeable on all of these topics, both as a physician and as someone who has experienced all that he writes about. So, Astraeus, thank you again.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Have an
You're
awesome
welcome.
week and hope everybody enjoys the book if they order it up.
Yes, yes, yes. It's all about the book. And also, as CEO of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, I want to share with you, Astraeus, how cool it is that you had the courage to actually write a book like this because a lot of people get great ideas, they see a void in the market, and they are too scared to write the book. But you did it. You compiled all this content, which was a lot of work, and you did an excellent job. So, congratulations on that.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome. And all of you, please share this with anybody who might be interested in sacred sexuality and especially cannabis. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I think everybody should write a book. So please visit twosisterswriting.com, learn more about how I could help you as a book coach, an editor, and a publisher. So I wish you, Astraeus, the best of luck with your book. And to all of you aspiring writers, go for it and happy writing. And if you happen to read Astraeus's book, happy reading. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.